Hi everyone, I have no idea if this is working because my web browsers have died and I can't seem to recover them. So I think maybe it's working. Is you guys seeing chat? Right. Okay, I can see chat in OBS, but I can't see chat in Safari. Okay, great. Welcome everyone. So as I hit stream,
Alan Madsen says all fine.
Good, it's all fine. Thank you, Alan. As soon as I hit stream, the YouTube studio crashed. That happened the other week as well. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, can you hear the crickets? Or the something? I don't know what they are. Cheers, takeaway coffee this morning. I got here a bit earlier than normal, and so I got a takeaway coffee on the way in. Oh, wow. So, hi everyone. It's very light, very bright in here today because O.T.I.S needs light, and I've got some new light rings on the way, so I can not that you can see anything right now. So I've got obviously there's a light ring that goes on the inspection camera. I don't have one for up here. I've got a light ring on the way to go here, so it can light up when it's looking at things like calibration or board detection and stuff, which I don't have right now. And I just went over a cable. Excellent. Okay, it's a good start to the day. So I need to turn all the lights on for it, and it also means that the lighting's uneven and it keeps changing, which is a problem. And of course I need to do some form of auto calibration of exposure. Anyway, this is turning out to be quite a challenging project, and I haven't even got to the part recognition yet. What's the boom tish? What did I say? Did I say something? What? Didn't hear a drum. What? Okay, I've missed something completely. Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna just say hi to folks in the chat. Let's just do that, and I'm gonna have another drink of warm coffee first. Okay, so Yomo Prime, hello. Alan Metzton, hello. Adam Bryan, good morning. Dutch Taurus, Rat Madness. Mike, hello. Henrik, hello. David Esser, hello. Gable Tie, good morning. Why are you saying 10? Oh, right, that was the likes. Life and Cycling, hello, hello. Gerald42, hi. Wagon Loads, Mr. England. Yes, I know you're in Chile, the country. I was just, bad humour at 6 o'clock in the morning. What can I tell you? Boss defeated. What? Hi, Imla. Ian, good morning. Jay, hello, Jay. Canada is working. Glad to hear Canada's working. Jeremy, hi. Michael, good morning. Pete S, hello. It jumped. Alan Gillespie, hello. Johnny, good morning, Johnny. Or good evening, Johnny. And did my toe in Python this week. Seeing it's different to VB and C++. It's quite different, yes. It's a bit of a learning curve, but it's pretty good. Richard, hello. Okay. Have I got everyone? No, Graham, hello. That's Graham Brown. Okay. Might have everyone now, might not. I don't know. It's not a great start to the stream. What can I tell you? Breathe. Coffee. Hello, Art Comics. Oh, of course. Well, yes. So, I have had really no time to spend on O.T.I.S since my last stream, which is pretty typical. It just sits around, hanging around, making me feel bad every time I walk up in here and sit down and I see it there and I think, nope, don't have time to play with it. But I do want to. So I started working on an calibration, a calibration system for it, which of course is extremely hard to do when things like lighting and all that isn't defined, because it completely affects the camera and whatever else. But the first thing I wanted to get working was it being able to work out scale. Right, it needs to go through a calibration pass when it's put somewhere to be able to determine how high it is away from a subject matter, so it can work out scale. Scale is kind of important, especially if it's using measurements to detect where things are, to find things, and to, yeah, so forth, so forth. So I had started working on that, and kind of works. Has a few problems. There are some things that you'll see that are a problem with it that I need to work on. I'm going to work on this morning, and it's a bunch of coding. Unfortunately, it's a bunch of ugly UI stuff. I'm using T-Kinter still. Some of you might remember I mentioned that I lost my SD card on my other Raspberry Pi that had most of my original code on it. The code that was running on the gantry-based one, the one that had, I was much further along with a bunch of stuff in the project on it, and I was never able to recover that SD card, unfortunately. Or, yeah, it was just corrupted somehow. So I've been rebuilding stuff again, trying to rebuild what I remembered and how I did things and stuff like that. It's been a bit of a struggle because I haven't had a lot of time to do it. Hello, Ben C. Hello, Andre. Got to use Git. Well, yeah. I mean, originally I was just hacking away at it. Anyway, the good news is I have duplicates of the code I'm working on now. I'm not using Git for it because it's not really something that, like, it's in a complete state of hackery, and it's not something where I can just be committing things that make any sense. Like, it'll just be a mess. I'll have a million commits. Like, using it as a backup, sure, but there are other things I can use for backup instead. Got my home assistant server to be bail, to be reached from anywhere, finally. I don't know what bail, but yes, to be reached from anywhere, like public, like static IP address. Publicly routed. Just be careful if that's what you're doing. There are lots of people out there trying to do backup to. Yeah, it depends on where it's going to. Like, there's no point backing up to the same SD card. Okay, so I'm going to show you kind of what I've got, but it's gonna work, gonna not work. We'll see. Hey Ethan, I still don't have. Haven't worked out what the final cameras are on here. The one I'm using right now is the best combination of an autofocus camera that has the widest view for the height and everything that I want to use, but it has no ability to go into manual focus mode. I have a camera here that has a manual focus mode, where I can go auto or manual, but the field of view on it is much smaller. And so I'd have to make O.T.I.S much taller, which is something I don't really want to do. Well, I can't really print it any taller. I'd have to make it in multiple pieces, going high. Anyway, so we should just get on to, let me show you. Oh, actually, yeah. No, okay. Let me, Hacker Man, that's me. Okay, so I have got a layout here. So this is VNC to the Raspberry Pi that's just sitting on the desk next to Otis. There's really nothing to see with Otis specifically. If it's on site, I would call it more a copy or a mirror. True backups are. Yeah, I'm not talking about a backup. I'm just talking about having a version of it that isn't on the SD card, right? So if I destroy the SD card in the Raspberry Pi for whatever reason, I have the code not on the SD card. Yeah, I don't need to go into backup semantics. That's not what I need. I just need a duplicate of the code. I mean, SD cards fail. Okay, so this actually is going to fail at the moment. There's some stuff I got to do, but this is the really ugly UI, the OTIS UI, and right now this is looking at this calibration sheet, right? And my hand, and the picture's upside down, doesn't really matter. And you can automatically see that the lighting is just terrible, right? And I'm deliberately not using auto exposure, because if I do auto exposure, then I've got no control. It's going to keep changing, and I need it to be consistent. But maybe what I need to do is have it run auto exposure for 30 seconds or something, and then when it settles, then I can turn auto exposure off. I don't know, there's a lot of different ways I can do this, but one of the things I thought of doing was, just for now anyway, is sticking some sliders on here that are going to allow me to just, for now, change visually what I'm seeing through the camera. I'm not talking about adjusting the image, I'm talking about actually adjusting the camera, like the exposure, the gain, the whatever else, at least for my testing, to be able to get something manually consistent. Hitting the calibrating button right now is going to crash it, but I'm going to fix that now. I'm telling it to clear the calibration data, but it doesn't have access to this class. So what I need to do is, when I initialize this whole problem with Python's great, Python's terrible, hey Mad Techie, what? You have two dots on top of your lower camera and on your work surface. Yeah, I don't, okay, yeah. I've got a solution for that. Wagon loads. Yeah. The issue right now is what the camera sees, as in what the camera settings are and the lighting conditions. Okay. So the problem is passing data around in Python and not duplicating classes is a bit of a pain. I mean, you can solve it just by making everything global, but that's also a really bad way of going. And I'm just going to call this iTools for the inspection tools. Actually equals state class equals iTools class, and I'm going to pass it in. I'm going to pass it into the constructor when I create the UI. So I'm importing inspection tools here, and I want to I don't want to import it twice, because then I've got two unique classes, right? So here, when I create the UI, I'm just going to pass that in. That's the class that gets generated when the inspection tools is initialized. So I should now be able to call self.itools instead of inspection tools, and that should clear them. So let's try that. use a smart window film, electronic privacy film between to get it working. I don't know what April 1st has got to do with it. No, anyway. So, okay. So the good news is it goes into calibration mode now, and it should be trying to calibrate. But sometimes it does. Oh, here it goes. Right, and then so we have the problem that the lighting conditions isn't good enough for it to do it. So what is happening here? Hey, Hansi. Yeah, I have to code in this case. This what? Yeah. So I'm going to. I need to turn off when it thinks it's finished calibrating, so you can see what it's doing. It's look. I'm not even going to go. This is not a me doing a code run through because it's. It's crap code, but so I'll explain what I'm doing. And the problem again is it's lighting condition dependent, and right now it's too bright, right? And I'll fix that in a moment. So what it does is when you click on calibrate, whatever, put the piece of paper underneath it, and what it starts trying to do, there's 3 squares there, and it's trying to grab all 3 squares. You can see that green box is just stupid. The red box isn't quite right. The blue box is. It grabs the 3 squares. The red box will always be the outer big one. The green one will be the next size down. The blue will be the smallest. And what it does is tries to... I know how big they are because I made those squares. And it goes and adjusts all its calculations to... Yeah, typos. Thanks. I'll fix that in a sec. It tries to calibrate them to be 150, 150 millimeters, right? And when it gets them to be that size, then it knows what its pixels to millimeters and millimeters to pixel value is, right? And then from there, it can accurately grab things. Now, the problem is it actually grabs stacks of contours when it's calculating. So OpenCV, I say, find all the contours, and then I go and create bounding boxes of them all, and then I'm trying to find the 3 bounding boxes that are the correct ones. And again, totally light dependent. If I was to shut this down, and if I was just to give you an example, because that's way too bright, right? Overhead cam for calibration. If I turn the so I just turn the gain off. So I'm just running the script from there. If I tell it to calibrate, oh, that's interesting. My chat stuff just died. Looks like I'm having trouble getting to the stream. Wow, okay. And as you can see, sometimes it'll trigger, sometimes it doesn't. There it goes again. Didn't trigger the right thing. Anyway, what I want to do, I want to put some sliders on here and see if I can adjust the calibration. See if I can adjust the image. That should actually tell it to restart calibration. Anyway, I've got a few bugs, a few things I need to sort out to get this working. There's no orange, and you can't set the color of that outline one. Okay, this is, as I said, it's going to be a messy stream, but these are things without these things I can't progress on the vision side, and I'm kind of stuck on the motor side right now. Hey Aaron, because I have to solve the homing, and I just haven't had time. There's a lot been going on here. Stay tuned. So what I want to do is I need to create some start with the manual calibration and move on, and then later maybe come back for some kind of auto exposure calibration, probably. No, the calibration, the size calibration can't happen without auto calibration, without the exposure calibration. It's all like, if the camera can't see properly, then nothing else is going to work properly. So, better chat than my cat. That is true. I really hate this UI stuff. So I want to move it over to that other UI stuff I was playing with a little while ago, but it's not, or last time I looked, it wasn't async IO ready. Don't need that. So I need to create a self dot, I think it's called scale. Hey Beata. They go in the footer. Main image, I think that's column equals 0. I think I need there. And so I need self dot, I don't know, maybe we'll make this self dot cam overhead gain equals scale, and that's going to be the parent, and I need a from from 0 to, I don't know, 20, just so we can see what it does. I want to tick interval equals 1, and I want to orientation is horizontal, and how do I tell it what to trigger? Horizontal. Yeah, from uses a underscore, to doesn't, I believe. Let's see if this puts a widget on the screen. It might not. Oh, I might have to stick the, I might have to grid it. I didn't grid it, I think. I have to give it a grid. Self. As I said, I really hate this stuff. Dot grid is in row equals 0, column equals 1. I think. Sticky equals E for expand, I think. I don't remember. It's been a, I don't know. We'll see. From is a keyword in Python. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Look, I've got a slider. It looks pretty ugly. I don't know what the value is on the bottom. That is a very ugly slider. Okay. Obviously, it doesn't do anything right now. I probably don't want it there. Where do I want it? I don't want it on content. I think I want it on root. I think I want it on root. And how do I set its size? I guess that's all going to be part of the okay, I just want to get it working right now. Hey Clem, how you doing? Even if it's ugly, I just want to see if I can. But how do I do a? Oh my god. I can do a get, right? So I can do a I don't know. I can get the value of it, but I want to know if it's changed. I'm gonna have to do some googling. T-Kinter call back on slider when changed. Can't spell slider when. How to trigger the event only when the interact. There. Oh, I gotta bind something. Really? You can't. When you do said is have your command delay any real work for a short period of time. What? Oh, so I can do a command. Command equals. If I command equals self dot set overhead cam gain. Maybe, but I don't even have access to the cameras in here. Let's just try it. I just want to see if I can get it to do anything. Anything at all would be good. Define. For now, let's just print print the value out and make sure that that bit works. If cam gain dot, I think I need to do a get on it. I think. I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, I can get ChatGPT like giving the AI eyes. Nothing go wrong. What? What? This. See if that changes. Oh, error. Takes one conditional argument. Two were given. What? Okay, well, it's firing something. How do I get the value from it? Self-to-slide. Yeah, I should be able to just do a get on it. Why can't I do a get on it? Self cam overhead gain dot get. No, there's no version for Xcode for anything other than a Mac. Hey Graham. Oh, goody, coding. Yeah, like I didn't want to be coding. But I that's the stage I'm up to with this stuff, and it's as frustrating for me as it is for you. Print hello, and I want to see if the error is in the get. No. Cam gain takes one positional argument, but two were given. Oh, okay. Maybe it passes in the value. Maybe that's why. That's even better, and I don't have to call get on it. People use Xcode. There we go. Right, so I've got the gain value. You can see it just scrolling behind. How do I make this bigger? Not like that. Edit, zoom in. Control Shift plus. There we go. That's a little bit bigger now. Hopefully you'll be able to see. If I just move it down there, move that up there, you'll be able to see it scrolling past. Okay, so now I need a way of controlling the camera. I've got the state. So I can, in here, I should be able to say self dot state class dot overhead camera. And what's the command for the gain? Dot set. Oh, hang on. I won't have CV. Import CV. Oh no. Right, I'm going to have to create classes in here. That's okay. I can do that. And yes, they're static. Yeah, I'm happy. I don't care if they're static methods. Whatever. This will all be, I'm sure, rewritten at some point. Set overhead cam gain. Actually, it shouldn't be over. Just set cam gain. Doesn't matter what, because I'm passing the camera.
This miserable says I am so tired.
Why are you so tired? Why are you so tired? Cam gain. And if we do that and set that here, I should be able to go self dot I tools dot set cam gain, and I can pass it the camera, and I can pass it the value. That should change our gain now, I hope.
Aliho Bija says unexpected maker is awesome.
Thank you. I'm not really sure I am. Okay, that... Oh, hang on. Value cannot be treated as a double. What? It doesn't... What? It wants... The argument value cannot be treated as a... What? No, did it to double? Is it? I can't remember how to cast. How do you cast values in Python? Anyone remember? Using the float method. Convert a string to double in Python using... So there's no... Oh, there's no... Okay. Really? I have to pass it as a float? No way.
ChatGPT says I'm sorry, my responses are limited. You must ask the right questions.
Hey, Peter. Hey, or... Yeah, float value, but I didn't realize that... Oh, there you go. It's doing something. See that? It's definitely affecting. It's just too bright to start with. And there are so many processes being calculated on this image to be able to grab the bounds. So, okay, so that's for the gain. We should do one for brightness. Cam.
Hal 9000 says I'm sorry Sean, I cannot do that.
Who's Sean? Sorry, joke. Brightness. Can't spell. I'm just call this val. Val and val. Okay, and that should be brightness. While I'm here, I should do one for contrast. You can stop the processing and just show the raw image without overlay if the slider is held.
Hal 9000 says I'm sorry autocorrect, you are wrong, it's Ian not Sean.
What do you mean by stop the? Stopping the processing won't help me here. I'll just say that there's the camera settings, and then there's a whole stack of things that I'm doing. Like I can't check the I can't find contours and shapes on a colored image like that. Like it goes through a whole bunch of processes. I can show you that in a moment, but okay, so I've got one for gain, brightness, and contrast. And so I need to do and it cam. I don't know what the contrast and brightness values are actually, so that'll be interesting. I think I can go negative on contrast. Maybe I can't. Okay, so I need two more sliders, but I need to know how to label the sliders. Right now it's got that funky thing on it. Maybe there's a title. We can try. Gain. That'll probably be very unhappy. Okay, so overhead gain, overhead brightness. What I should do is just employ someone else to come in and do this. Like this is such a laborious process. That needs to be row 1. Oops, row 1, and that needs to be row 2. I think. Let's go minus 32 to 32, and let's go 0 to 64. Brightness, that's not gain, that is contrast. 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 Well, that, what do we reckon? Is that everything? Contrast, brightness, contrast. Okay, let's see what that does. Oh no. Okay, it doesn't like title. You gotta be kidding me. T Quinto, how to set scale title. Tinker scale widget labeling. Sounds about right. What? No, I don't want to put a label. No, that's rubbish. Come on. Rubbish, rubbish. Background, command, cursor, digits, font. Foreground, hard. Label. Oh, label. I need it. Not title. It's label. Of course it is. Button uses a title, but a slider uses a label. Okay. I don't know what the value is on the bottom. And they look pretty ugly, but you know, we can deal with that. So, brightness. Okay. Yay. Now, you notice that the inside of the image isn't changing much. That's okay. Contrast. Okay, you can't go negative on the contrast. But that's good that these are working. Okay, so let's just go. Now the problem is these need to be set to their default values. How do I, was there a default value? Show value, normally the current value of the scale is no, slider length, state. Let's take focus, tick interval 2, color variable, control variable for the scale. Width, no, okay. Oh, there's a set. Okay, I'm going to have to manually, for the moment, just put in what I know the defaults are, but really not great, I know. I don't know what that one is. Hey, Christopher. That's it. So by default, for the it's not in calibration mode yet. Interesting. So I don't know what the default brightness is. I might have to set a default brightness to be able to, I don't know, 16. And a default gain of, I don't know, so 16, so 1, 16, and 32. We'll try that. 1, 16, 32. Okay. 1, 16, 32, maybe. Okay. Looks. Okay, so at least I can do that now. So if I go, like, if I look at that, maybe that's a bit sharper. If I click calibrate, that's me putting a white border there. So sometimes it doesn't start until there's a change in the image, which is really annoying. There we go. So I just triggered a change in the image, and see, that time it's grabbed it correctly, right? And as you can see, it's scaled it, and now it's pumping a whole bunch of stuff into the background because it's finished, but it needs to move on, but I blocked it from moving on. So it calculated the red one, and you can see there's a slight skew on the camera. but it's calculated the red one at 150 millimeters, the green at 100, and the blue it thinks it's 51. That's a rounding error, but that means it's now worked out its scale value, and the scale value is actually this one. If I shut down, that there is its millimeters per pixel value. So, and it worked it out to 150.016 millimeters, which is pretty okay. I could get it more accurate. Yeah, I'll make that bigger. I can get it more accurate, but it also means that it takes a lot longer to calculate. So, $1.16. If I just leave it as the default values, see, that time it grabbed it straight away. So it's lighting dependent. Now half a millimeter per pixel. The stop doesn't work right now. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's millimeters per pixel. Okay, so that's good. If I now turn on the in inspection, when it finished calibrating, if I tell it that it can move on, now the idea is that it doesn't have to recalibrate it. You only have to calibrate it when you set it up somewhere, right? But for now, I'm just gonna you see, that time it didn't kick in. Again, the lighting just keeps shifting. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes it just kicks in straight away. Sometimes not. There it goes. Right. So it finishes it. It does it, and now it's going into. Oh, right. I need to set up those other buttons. It goes into it's not doing the movement detection. It's doing board detection right now. So, like, if there was a board there, it would be trying to grab the outside edge of the board. But now we have the problem that there's not enough light, which is why I need the light on the overhead. If I grab a piece of paper, it needs to be right, then it does a better job. So it thinks that panel is 164 by 138, right? 164 by 138. And if I measure the panel, it is 139 by, or 164.5 by 139. So it's fairly close. I mean, right now it's also going to, capture some of the shadow. I don't have it doing rotation correction. Hubaboo. How do I pronounce that? Huababua. It's not hubba. Wow, I don't know. Is there any news? I'm not sure I can talk about that yet. There is. What are you trying to remember? Oh, right. Hey, Tinkering Tech. Hi to anyone I haven't said hi to that I missed. Okay, so anyway, that's on panel detection. You can see that, like, there's, a bit of white space on the left-hand side up here. Like, there's a little bit of skew on the camera.
Ilya says Huababua.
Yeah, I can't say that. Huababua. We need a nickname. We need a nickname. There's also, you know, shadow being cast on it, which is getting picked up. And again, it's all lighting condition based, right? Like I wonder if I adjust the brightness, you see it's now having trouble detecting the edge. If I up the gain, that's a bit more accurate. If I drop the contrast. So there's a lot of camera, like lighting changes that have to happen. And it's going to be location specific. It's Bavarian. I totally apologize. Like, my name's terrible to pronounce. Most people can't pronounce my name. So I apologize for butchering yours. Would calibrating using a black sheet of paper with white lines work better? Yeah, so what I haven't done yet is done any exposure calibration. And so I need to do that as well. Like, what I need to do maybe on the calibration sheet is, you know, maybe there'll be some patches of color, black and white, on here as well, not just these lines, that I can then do a, like I can read the white and read the black off them and adjust. I need to work out doing an auto calibration for that as well. And ideally, I want that needs to be not constantly running, but, you know, lighting conditions change during the day as well, and it needs to be able to understand and adjust. That's kind of what the auto exposure is for, but as I said, the auto exposure keeps shifting all the time, so I want to be able to set it to auto, know it's correct, and then turn off auto, which I can do that. I'm gonna need some playing around. So, because there's definitely some skew, and obviously, you know, the camera needs to be leveled a bit, but like that's measuring that at, you know, fairly close to 150, like it should be. I think it's definitely accurate enough that when you're looking at a panel, that sorry, I got thrown by the chat. It's definitely accurate enough that when you're looking at a panel of parts, it's going to be able to get close enough to each part to understand what's what. The usual suspects are missing. Who's the usual suspects? Keen was supposed to be joining us, but I don't know where he is. He actually, he's not on site today, but yeah. But who else is the usual suspects? Why not doing a threshold function like the fiducial recognition on the pick and place? For what, sorry? Fiducials are for positioning. Oh, Andy Mouse, the Freddy, I don't know. Maybe they're not interested in optical inspection stuff. Maybe they're busy. I don't know. I can't, like, so I'm confused what you mean by the fiducials. I'm not trying to determine where the board is in space right now. Well, that happens after the calibration process. Calibration process is working out scale. Using fiducials on a won't necessarily help me. I mean, it's really no different to using what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here gives me multiple boxes. But you were here before, Cable Tie, or did you go and then come back? Brian! Hello, Brian. How you doing? And I do have, okay, let me just stop this, and I have my movement detection code still. Just to show you, right, and this is a bit messy. No, it's very messy. But the image is coming in when I'm doing the calibration, right? I have to normalize the image. Then I'm doing a contrast brightness control on the image itself, which I can probably, once I get the exposure stuff working, I can remove that step. Then I need to convert it to grayscale. Then I need to do a threshold on it, which gives me black and white. clamped at values, and then I'm doing the contours on that threshold. So to give you an idea, I have to convert the image to, this will stop it from working, but that's okay. This will show you what I'm converting the image to. Oh, the Embedded Hobbyist is here. Right, you'll see that the calibration process now, calibrate, that's what I'm converting it to, a black and white image. You can see there? That will actually calibrate, maybe. And yep, there it goes. So I have to convert it to a black and white image. It's really hard to tell from that it's any different, but it is. Okay, if I just put that back, and if I tell it to go to movement detection, so when it's finished calibrating, where is it? Okay, go to, I'll tell it to go to movement detection. Okay, so now you'll see that stealing all the ladies' hearts. What? Oh, back from a run. Right, okay, wow. So it calibrates. And right now I'm not storing the calibration, so it has to do it every time, right? But I'd store the data. So when it finished calibrating, it's now in movement detection. I haven't updated the title. So if I move this, there you go. It detected that it moved. So it's detecting a panel coming in, right? Yeah, and you see the stuff down here changed. Let me just fix those as well. So, overhead camera, and then when that's done, okay, that's fixed that. I'll get rid of the movement detection. I'll put it back how it was. Movement. Okay. My goodness for me, just the years of eating like crap. Yeah, Brian doesn't drink. Can't you calculate scale by computing the distance between fiducials between known and visualized? What fiducials though? And where does it work out where the fiducials are? I don't understand. Like this needs a calibration sheet. Like there is no way in the world I can stick just a random PCB under the board and it find the fiducials I'm looking for when there's a million other things on there, right? So this is about, you put it in place and you calibrate it in place and then it's done. And then you don't need to do it again. You don't use a PCB for that. You don't use a panel for that, right? You use some form of calibration sheet or whatever else. Yeah, it's not about whether you can use fiducials or not. There are no fiducials to do it. I could put fiducials on this sheet, but what's the point? Like, that's no different to using squares. So, hey Pratik, how you doing? Did I say hi? I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, it's not about... Yeah, this is the correct thing that I should be using for calibration right now. This is done independent of the PCB or a panel or anything else. Have you tried printing out a high-res checkerboard and placing under the camera? A high-res checkerboard is not going to help me. High-res checkerboard would be good for skew compensation, but a high-res checkerboard is going to give me way too many squares to have to deal with. I don't want a whole bunch of stuff to go through. So you can use it for checking movements and distortions. Well, I don't need it for movements, right? The movement detection is something else. The movement detection is where the machine is sitting here doing nothing, and then a board comes through and it detects that a board has come in. That's what the movement detection is for, right? It's sitting there not processing inspection until a board comes in. Then it starts calculating. It detects what the board is to calculate inspection. So that's what the movement detection is for. The distortion detection should be done at the same time as the calibration process, and that should be, because once the robot's put in place, it stays there until it's moved and you have to recalibrate. So that all these steps only have to be done once. I just haven't got the whole process built yet. So that's all. And I'm not even on to the point of going through and detecting parts again. So what's next? What's next is, until I can get the lighting stuff to be consistent, right? Which I need to obviously play with. It's going to be, I had some board detection code. I just realized I don't have any saving yet. That's really frustrating. Saving the scale, the calibration would be great. That would be a really good step. Also, by the way, I don't know if people noticed, but I've got rotation correction. Wait, I had rotation correction. Where's my rotation correction gone? Okay, anyway, I had rotation correction. Something down there. Right. So the next step is to see that board and go, okay, what is it? Like determine, oh, that's a Feather S3 panel. And I kind of had that working in my other system, but it's not working now, which really sucks. Why does that not change? Right, I just need to fix this bug. Oh, because it wants the movement. Right, it's not going to change the headings because it's looking for the movement part. So, okay. So when O.T.I.S is sitting idle, O.T.I.S is like this. Let's say here's a conveyor this way, right? O.T.I.S sits like this. That's its default position, camera looking down. Okay? A board comes in. So O.T.I.S is sitting idle. There'll be some light coming down, right? And as a board comes in, so it's already calibrated. When a board comes in, it does movement detection on the board. It detects, oh, there's a board coming in, and it goes into detect mode, panel detect mode, right? So this will come in. Somehow it'll stop the conveyor. That's a whole different problem to solve. But let's say it stops the conveyor here, there's a board here, and it goes into panel detect mode, and it detects what it is through whatever process I do, and it goes, oh, it's a Feather S3 panel. Okay, it either, I know I could have it not detect it and just try to find the parts anyway. I think that's a much more difficult process than detecting what the board is. It then goes and loads the pick and place data that I had for the board, because I've already got it because I'm pick and placing, right? And it then, because it knows the scale of the board and it knows where it is in the camera position, and it's got the pick and place data for that, it then knows where every single part is on here, right? It knows, and then it can go and look at those positions. So from that point, it detects what the board is, it loads the pick and place data, and it then rotates around like this, or gets this out of the way, and then I just need to clip this on, so it's hanging around. I've actually got a new one coming for here as well, a bigger one, so it won't have this problem, right? And then from there it starts going over all the parts, and detecting what they all are, right? However it works itself out. Checks all the parts like this, however long it takes. And then when it's finished, it can send the board on its way. Is second audio kind of choppy for anyone else or just me? Second audio? What's second audio? It might be that I'm not facing the camera when I'm talking. Did I not suggest the robot for this when it all started and was rejected? What? Did I not? I've always been using a robot. What do you mean? But I was using a gantry to start with. And now I've moved over to a Sacra style robot. Is that what you mean? That you suggested a Sacra? Stupid vision question. Do you need to see an optical resolution of every individual part on the PCB or just the complete? I don't know what the yes was. I asked you like five scenarios there, Jay. But okay, all good. Oh, Sion's audio. Right, okay. It's a very narrow conveyor. No, it needs to look at each part because, or each section, right? This camera will be looking at maybe sections. I don't know. Image is not high res enough from here to be able to check all the parts on here. I'd have to be using a, you know, I could avoid doing all of this and just have this if I had an 8K camera sitting here. No, that's the thing. It can't be done with one camera, Jay. Not unless it was a super high-res camera.
Super chat!
Hey, crazy boy. Thank you. Only 24,029,622 seconds until Christmas. Man, that's a really long time. But thank you very much for the super chat. Yay! There's not enough pixel data to detect the parts properly without having a very, very high-res camera. And there's too much distortion. The higher the res camera you go, or the bigger the camera you go, the more distortion you get. You've got to be further away. You need a completely different lens on there, like a really narrow lens that you can have the camera sitting up here, right? And then you got interference, whatever else. You got more graininess and whatever, and it needs to be super high res. Cam near bottom detects something moving. Cam near bottom detects something moving. Scans stitches. Cam near bottom can't detect what it is, can't detect the bounds of it. So it detects something moving and then it has to kind of go all crazy to work out what the bounds is to be able to scan the whole thing. And you can't get a global shutter camera that's super high res. Like even this, the resolution on this at this level is just way too low to be detecting the parts. Like by scanning like this to build an image, it's one thing to be looking at a part, and using a rolling shutter camera, it would take 5 minutes to scan the whole thing. Like it's got to go here, right, and then take a photo, and it's got to go here, take a photo, then it's got to go here, take a photo, then it's got to go here, you know what I mean? Like that's, yeah, and even still, you have issues with skew and rotation and stuff, and you stitch it all together and you've got an inferior image. I'm not a camera expert at all, but you get an inferior image.
Super chat!
Again, thanks, crazy boy. Only 55 million until Christmas 2024. Are we really worried about 2024 right now? So to use images to detect, you got to remember, this is not a 3D optical inspection machine. This is not a machine that you stick on your line or that sticks offline that's $150,000 that has the ability to scan every part in 3D and be able to look at the sizes of the images and everything else, right? This is just a top-down thing where I'm just using basic image comparison, pixel data to detect like, here's a resistor, does this Does it look like a good one or a bad one, right? And the only way you can do that is with resolution and accuracy. And anytime, if you grab the image and you do distortion correction on it, you've lost your pixel resolution, right? You've lost your accuracy. And then if you do rotation compensation and stitching, all you're doing is aliasing the pixels and deteriorating your raw images, okay? And by deteriorating the image that you're then processing, you're just reducing your ability to check whether it works well or not. The only way to do it is to work on raw imagery that hasn't been manipulated, which means no stitching. It means no rotation compensation. It even means no distortion compensation, right? I'm happy to do distortion compensation to get a good measurement of the board, but when this is moving around, no distortion compensation.
Super chat!
Crazy boy, what are you doing? 87 million until 2025. I appreciate the super chats, dude, but you should save your money. Thank you. Oh, that's a lot of seconds. Anyway, like even this rotation here to compensate to keep it straight, like this. If this servo is not accurate enough, I'm gonna have to replace it with something else, because if I've got any rotation distortion on there, I'm stuffing my data up. So I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, okay? But there's no point going through this whole process and hampering its ability to work by just constantly processing and reprocessing the image data. Have tried the bottom cam. What do you mean have tried? I've shown what it looks like before on what through the bottom camera. It would mean multiple scans with bottom camera, perhaps. No, well, the whole point is to be able to look at each part directly. The other thing with the bottom camera is the too much distortion. You couldn't stitch this. Like the image that you're grabbing from here, if you grabbed an image as big as this paper, your only usable area in it is probably the second smallest rectangle. Because everything else on the image from this camera is distorted. It's on an angle. Perspective, right? Which is why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, where I'm going to be looking at each part. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how feasible it's going to be. But by positioning this and looking at every part, I'm looking down at the part and I have no distortion. Okay? As soon as you introduce distortion, it can't do an image comparison on the part. I'm not using machine learning, right? I'm not trying to detect this is a resistor, this is a capacitor. I'm trying to detect, is this resistor soldered correctly? Is this capacitor soldered correctly? And to do that, it's not image recognition of what the item is. It's not an identity thing. It'll have a database of known good soldered resistors, and it'll compare them to that. Is that what a Barlow lens is? A Barlow lens is to reduce magnification. Like you can put a Barlow lens, like I've got a Barlow lens on my microscope, which it's like a 0.5, so it reduces the magnification, which then technically reduces distortion. The bottom camera is still, it's not a high-res camera, but it's a global shutter, which means there's no blur when it's moving. It's not a rolling shutter. And because of that, it's a lower res camera. It's a black and white camera, but I can look directly over the part. And so when I capture something, okay, hang on. Let me see if I can force this into which camera I'm capturing. Hang on. Let me go back to here. Okay, when I'm in detect mode, let me... cam overhead. webcam capture. Okay, let me see if I can just fool this into... I don't know what the image is going to be. Okay. Let me see if I can fool this. Oh boy. Anyway, okay. Let's just do this first. Rulers in the way. Whatever. Okay. I'm only comparing to good samples, not bad samples. I want to get false fails, not false positives. Yeah, I don't have LiDAR. This is just a camera running off a Raspberry Pi. Okay, calibration done. Wait, what's it done? New state detect. Why is it not? Why is it not capturing the camera? Oh, here we go. I don't know what that was. Right. I've got no light. Hang on. Let me see if I can just get this back on. Okay, and if I do this, is that connected? Let me just wire up the light because it needs light. Or maybe I can, for the moment, I can get away with that light. Let's just try. I don't have a. Let me see if let me get a board with some parts on it. What is this? Featherist 2. Why is that image not updating? Oh, I know why. I have the catch that, Adam. Yeah, I need light. Screwdriver. I don't have the LED ring wired up. I'm just doing that now. I don't know which one's positive, which one's negative. I didn't label. I didn't label them. That's bad. Xeon. Let me just go to KiCad. File open. I'm definitely not a cam expert at all. No, there's no point using a Gerber file. Gerber file has no data in it that you can use to do any of that type of stuff. Yeah, that is ground. Okay, good. Good. That's what I thought. No, you'll use a pick and place file. The Gerber file is pointless. The Gerber file is just a lot of vector lines. It doesn't really help you. It gives you no positional data of anything. Okay, that's negative. I hope. That's positive. And hopefully this won't go boom. Why is that not lit up? Uh-oh. That's interesting. Because that'll be off by default. I need that software controlled. Oh no. Okay. Well, that's actually not going to work, and unless I change firmware on the Pro S3. So that's not set up yet. What other light can I use? I need some light. It's also really, it's out of focus because it's not down. Okay, let me just, see, the closer I get, the less light there is. Which is why I need the light ring. Can I fake it with my phone for the moment? Not really. Needs much more light. Wow, okay. Wasn't really up to this bit yet. I don't even know if you can see how close I need to get. Like, I need to get really close to the with the camera to the board. Trying to think where I can get 12 volts from for the light. Do I have another connector? Just bear with me a second. The other end. Okay, maybe I can. Let me see if I can use this. Wait for a sec. I might be able to just put 12 volts directly into the constant current circuit. So this is designed for the Pro S3 to be able to turn on and off, turn the ring light on and off. Doesn't need to be on. Well, that one doesn't need to be on when it's in board detection mode. It only needs to be on when it's scanning parts. Okay, let's see if this. Here we go. Okay, we've got light. Yay, super bright. Now we can actually see through the camera. Okay, so now you can see parts, right? It's still not quite in focus, so I have to get it at the right height. And that's another thing, right? It needs to know. See, it could be that this is just not close enough now. Just for the moment, what can I put underneath it? Actually, probably just that'll be enough, maybe. So if you look at that ambient light sensor, right, can you see my mouse, hopefully, just there? As I move that sideways, look how much it distorts. You see that? Which is why I need to be looking directly at a part. Look at the JST connector. You see the distortion on it? On the angle? There's no point comparing an image that isn't directly over the top. So it needs to go and find the part and position it itself over it. I need that still a bit higher. Maybe that's going to be too high. Hang on. Right. That's better from a sharpness point of view. So It's trying to do detection, panel detection. Zoom lens, I could zoom in on a rivet more than 100 meters away. Well, firstly, no, well, not really, no. Like, again, as you zoom in, you're distorting the image. I need a global shutter camera. Anyway, yeah. And of course, the brightness and contrast right now hasn't been set properly, right? I mean, this is a pretty contrasty image just because I faked it to go to here. So it's not using the correct settings, and I can't use these gain, brightness, and contrast because they're for the other one. How to use the distorted side views of components to detect bad placements. Sure. The issue with that is much longer to view every part, right? Parts that that aren't soldered correctly have a fairly distinct look to them. You can't really tell from this right now. I don't want to set up a whole bunch of new controls to be able to control this, but actually, you know what I could do? I could maybe hack this. I could say if self.state class dot current, if I am in, what is the current, so the state, if I'm in detect, if I'm in 4, then do this on the overhead capture. So that will hopefully allow me to set I can figure around with the capture one. Why is it not letting me hit enter on it? That's really bizarre. Okay, so maybe I can tweak those values just a bit now, just to have a look. It's 3 meters above the PCB, zoomed way in, the angle distortion. Absolutely, except I can't place the camera 3 meters above the thing on a production line. And I can't make that a requirement for other people to do that either. That's just a ridiculous requirement. 3 meters? Yeah. So let's design something that is not usable by anyone else, because the positional requirements to use it are just completely unreasonable, right? I'm trying to come up with something that doesn't need all this type of stuff, like, to worry about. Okay, so this might... so if I move that out of the way, this back on. Just bear with me a second. Okay, so I moved it, doesn't matter. It doesn't update the image once it does all that. Okay, so now it's in detect mode. I should be able to play with these values Why are they not adjusting? Cam capture. It is current, isn't it? Yep. It's not adjusting the camera. Sorry, Peter, my bench supply is all the way over there. It didn't need it. I just needed. I already had 12 volts at the table. Yeah, whenever you're ready. Come on. I don't know why that has to trigger it like that sometimes. Anyway. Why is that not? That is not calibrating. I know it says stop calibrating, but it actually should start it again at the moment. Right, okay. I'll just leave that there. Which one was it going? Did I? So it's on detect. So it should be adjusting. Maybe it actually wants. Enums work weirdly in Python. They there's no such thing actually as an enum. It's not real. I don't know if it'll find that. No, it did. Okay. Okay. No, see, states is not defined. Oh, Python. What's if I do if int? If the int of that, let's see if it, no. What? Oh my god. What language am I in?
Michael says wrong syntax for casting.
Yeah, I know.
X.
Just it's a too many languages. Thank you though. Yeah. How funny. How funny is that? Okay. Calibrate. Come on. Whoa. Why is it not calibrating? You could take a frame of a known good board and then use edge detection to center a test board. The test could be done with a frame comparison software. Huh? Frame of a good known board and then use edge detection to center a test board. I don't understand what you mean, Prolux Electronics. That doing a whole board, a whole panel that way is not high res enough to do that. That's what I was saying before. You can't. I can't take a photo of this, which is a known good board, and then take a photo of another one and compare them at the pixel level, because there's 2 pixels per part on the board. How's it going to compare that? And no, there's not enough data of 2 pixels to see if a capacitor is right or not. You know, I'd need an 8K camera for that, as I said.
Cable Tie says there was still an error from the script.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't like, must be a string, a byte or a number, not a states. So it knows it's a states. Camera old spy satellite and see if there's any crash in your backyard. Maybe. Oh, Dishipu, that's hilarious. Like, it knows its object of type states. Oh, hang on. I just thought of something. I might know what I did wrong. I think I did state dot detect before instead of states dot detect. I think. And it couldn't find state. Oh no, it was states. Okay, no. Okay, that's not going to be it. How do I, Okay, so what I could do is, this is ugly, but just for now, see, that's how you create an enums. You gotta, I'm going to, I could put that in its own class. But for the moment, I'm gonna literally duplicate it, just for now. I hope that'll work. I don't know, it might not work. Oh, look at that. Okay, anyway, we just need one of them to be right. Okay. Yes, that's still not adjusting the camera. So maybe it was working before and it just isn't adjusting the camera. I don't understand why I'm passing the cam. Have I not passed the right name? I didn't pass the right name. No, cam capture. I don't know why it's not adjusting the camera. Ah, unless it's on auto. Is it on auto? Capture cam. No. Auto's off. Auto white balance is on. not setting up the cam. Wow, this is, again, I'm hacking. Maybe I'm not setting it up. But shouldn't make any difference. Okay, I'm hacking this now, like just for kind of come on. Calibrate. See, this is why I don't find much time to work on OTIS at the moment, because a lot of it is just frustration. See, that's going the wrong direction. Why is that? I think I have a maths problem somewhere. It's supposed to be going down, not up. It probably doesn't have enough steps, wagon loads. Oh, what? Okay. So that's now set up, but that still not changing. And I just don't know why. I want to make sure it's in that path. Like I'm clutching at straws now. Oh. Yeah, this is not turning into be a fun project. Like the things I'm getting stuck on are things I shouldn't be getting stuck on. I have no idea, wagon loads. I'm really not up to that point right now. Wow, that was a really bad capture. Oh, see, it's not, it doesn't think it's in that path. So it's not firing it still. It's not, okay. You know what I'm going to do? Just for now, I'm going to get rid of those. So it's not going to detect, it's just going to only do the overhead camera, the capture camera. Okay. Come on. Ah. What was that? That was my phone. Fell out of my pocket. Something weird with this camera. It should be in detect mode now, but it's, the camera has, it's just, what's it doing? Why is it not switching cameras? Time to turn this into just a robot project, right? And let's forget about the whole optical inspection. Because this is frustrating. Hello, you want to calibrate? See, it's not wanting to calibrate now. Yeah, but this is not a hard. This is not the hard problems. This is stupidity. Like this is like, what the hell is it? What's the camera doing? Maybe the Raspberry Pi's got itself in a bit of a O.T.I.S. I don't know. Like it shouldn't have. It's the same image. Like I don't know why it struggles to do that. Right, and it should now have the other camera turned on. No, there's only the other camera doesn't have autofocus. This one's got autofocus, and it's on. Like it's not a autofocus thing. You can see that the image looked fine to capture. Why is it not changing to the overhead mode now? Like it's on detect mode now. It should be looking through this camera now. The small one. And it was before, and now it's not, and there's no error. And it hasn't crashed. And this is just super frustrating. So it's going into detect mode, but it's not switching cameras. And when it's in detect mode, it's wait, hang on. Oh. When it's in detect mode, it's using the capture camera. Oh, unless there's something going on here. Hang on. Right, it's failing to grab something off the camera. That's what it looks like. No, there's no error. It's not printing. So it should be grabbing. From that camera. Oh my god. Maybe I just need to reboot it all. Maybe I need to unplug it, plug it back in again. Here we go. I'll plug that camera out and back in again. Ooh. And now it's not seeing the camera. Any cameras. Maybe the Pi has just given up. Okay, that will not... Okay, that's going to be the wrong scale. Doesn't matter. Okay, so it's not getting... So that's getting... It's not getting a picture from that camera. It was printing none. So... Man, that is shocking. So it's not getting an image back. Detect panel. So yeah, that camera's not working. It stopped working. I'll put it into a different USB port. Maybe the USB port has foobarred. Whoops. I had it and I clicked the button. Come on. No, getting no image from the camera. So I wonder if something happened to the camera. Oh, I think on that note, it's time to put a bullet in it. Wow. So I have no idea what's going on here, but the close-up camera is not working anymore. I can reboot the Pi. No, I haven't rebooted the Pi. If I reboot the Pi, I've got to restart my VNC session and my Visual Studio Code session and everything else. So, frustrating. So, you know, maybe what I need to do is just find myself a really good 4K or 8K camera and just use that. They're just really expensive. So I can get an inspection camera that is both wired, so it does 4K 60 frames per second wired, or it can do 4K 20 frames per second via Wi-Fi, all built into this inspection camera that is on an arm, articulated arm, that could sit over a conveyor and look down and not do this and try to do the single camera thing. I've seen one of these in operation. It's pretty good. It has a really good picture, but it can't capture the whole panel at once without distortion. And it's not something that other people can reproduce. The whole point of this was to build something that other people could reproduce, right? Open source it all. People could print their own. They could, grab the software. They could tinker with it. I feel like I've got just one roadblock after another on this thing, and it's really annoying. I don't know why this camera is not working now. Maybe I'll just reboot the Pi. But anyway, I think for the moment, that's rebooting. I think for this stream, that is over because, yeah. A little frustrated. I have a whole bunch of Reflow Master Pros to solder up. It's going to be my last batch for a while. More on that soon. Oh, so that camera, sorry, I didn't mention, yeah, that camera's $3,500. It's an expensive camera, very expensive camera. But it's auto, it's got all full auto capability, but it's also software controllable. So it can be, you know, the same way I'm trying to control the Pi camera, but it's really expensive. No, wrong type of camera. The cameras in quad cameras are wide-angle lenses. It's not a machine vision cam. Well, I actually don't know what camera's inside this thing. Suba Engineering, the guys here in Melbourne who sell Juki, they sell these things. They used to sell the Tagano ones, but they're just too expensive, and so they found a similar camera to what's inside a Tagano one that's used as a microscope, right? The digital microscope ones. And they've kind of made their own version, like a Tagano, that's on an articulated arm. And it's full, it's got built-in Wi-Fi, and it's got like, you know, PC connectable and controllable, and it comes with they sell them as inspection cameras that go on a line, but they're for manual inspection. They're not for that. I mean, you could use them for something else, but so you'd put it on top of a conveyor coming out of the pick and place machine, and the operator can stop the board, like I do with my magnifying thing at the moment, my magnifying light thing. But, you know, and they've got a nice big screen, and the board comes through, and they can have a look at all the parts on the board on the screen, but they can't see the entire, well, their boards were quite large, they can't see the entire board. I don't know how, it depends on how high you make it, and again, the higher you make it, the more distortion, whatever else. But I believe they're just they're not designed for, I remember saying that the Juki P&Ps were too expensive. They are too expensive. Have you looked at how much a Juki pick and place machine is? Wow, I can't even talk. Yeah, like like go look at recommended retail on a Juki RS1R plus feeders, and you'll fall off your chair, or if you're standing, you'll just fall over. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know specifically what these cameras were for, but the picture quality that I saw was pretty good, very sharp, very, you know, really well color balanced and stuff. But yeah, it'd be a matter of, like, one thing is getting something for my own inspection, and the other one was a project to build an inspection machine. This is just proving to be quite frustrating. I have to say, quite frustrating. Hang on, let me just see if this is rebooted. I don't know if this is gonna... Oh, interesting. And it just crashed itself and disappeared. Okay, like VNC just, I was just typing in it and it's gone. It trying to attempt to connect again. Oh, now it's back again. Pick and place have an inspection camera on the placing head. Sure, but it can't be used for anything. It's got two cameras on it, but the pick and place firmware doesn't support any form of inspection. So it doesn't matter what it's got. The software is not open software. It's not open. They've got no availability source code. So I don't really have a hang on. So it's back up again, and it's not running. It's not running the software. Like it's not even. Oh, hang on. Oh, that took a while to come up. Okay, let's just. I'm gonna try one more time, but I don't believe it's gonna work. Jay's back. Okay. I don't even care about this calibration pass, but right now I can't get to the detection stuff until it's done. No, I'm still getting no picture. None. So I think, I don't know, that this camera's died. Great. It's the only global shutter one I've got. Yeah. That's really frustrating. Okay, well. I have to take it out, plug it into my Mac, and see if I can get it working. Try to find out what the problem is. It's definitely not working on the Raspberry Pi anymore. 2 different USB ports, same problem. I don't know what it is. Let's write down and hard code the calcs for now. The camera stopped working. The overhead one. So the inspection one, the small one down the bottom. It's the Pi can't get anything from it. Keeps erroring. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I have to do some research. I got to pull it apart, get it out of the unit, unscrew it all, get it out, plug it into my Mac, see if I can detect it there. And if not, then I'll need to look at getting a different camera, a new camera, which is annoying. Okay, so you know what? I've got 3/4 of a coffee here and it's cold. So I'm going to solder up some Reflow Master Pros, and then I need to turn their line on, and I need to pick and place some boards. Come on, it would be easy. I could do it. You'll make it. Anyway, like, there are people out there that are way more knowledgeable in this stuff than me, and maybe they could be solving it. There are people out there that know way more about stepper motors and drivers than me. I can't get the stall guard working. And yeah, this camera stuff and OpenCV, definitely not my forte either. But, you know, that's how you learn. You learn by trying and doing. But I find the fighting stuff like this just really annoying. Like, it's hard enough to get it working from a code and logic point of view, but why doesn't my camera work anymore thing? That's just really frustrating. There are no camera wires. It's a USB camera. There are no wires. It's not failing to find the camera, it's failing to read anything from the camera. Catch you later, Cable Tie. Have a good day. Okay, so yeah. Hey, Illuminator. How you doing? And Peter, why are you talking about Jukies? Do you know something that I don't know? Oh, hey John, how you doing? Hey John, before I forget, I've been meaning to ping you. There's some people on my Discord server in the Reflow Master Pro channel that were asking about the those SSRs, the little black SSRs that you used in your T962C conversion for the fans. You found those little black SSRs. I think there were some people asking what they were. Yeah, meant to ping you, forgot. I'm also curious to know, because they were quite small, quite good. Okay. I have news to share, but not today. You're going to have to wait. Big news. Big news. But you're going to have to wait. How's that for a teaser? From JCar. Okay. Really? I thought you don't walk into JCar. Like a rule. Sorry. Big news. I have big news. But I'm not telling you now. You're going to have to wait. Yeah, no, you have to wait. You have to wait. God, I'm an asshole. Does the camera have an "Are you there" command? I'm sending. I can't get anything to Anyway, hey Austin Creations. I try to avoid it, but sometimes I need something right now and can't wait for shipping. Sure. You'd always send someone else into JCar and get it for you, right? Because that's kind of bending the rule a bit. That's like you not going to JCar, but still getting the benefits of getting stuff from JCar. Wow, how stupid is that? Okay, I'm going to kick on with it. My new panels aren't here from JLC PCB. They're probably arriving this afternoon or tomorrow. So that's my LoRa shields. Hopefully I'll be able to make those early next week. And my Whopper PCBs. And I'll be able to start kitting those up. But they're not here yet, which is good, because I've got lots of soldering to do. He has a disguise. Do you have a disguise, like you with a moustache and a hat, walking wearing a Freetronic shirt? You know what? I would think that 90% of the people that work at JCar wouldn't even know what Freetronics is anymore, or what the story was, or whatever happened, or whatever. You've still got stuff in this store, don't you? I'm sure I've seen Freetronic stuff in JCar. Not much, but little bits and pieces. I think so. I don't know. Mr. Creations. Okay. I gotta go. I'm procrastinating. Can you tell? Oh, you're him. You're him. Wow, that's cool. Yes, it's like a Radio Shack. We had Tandy stores here, which was Radio Shack. Actually, we had Radio Parts. I think there still is a Radio Parts. There's one left, I think. And we've got Ultronics, and we've got JCar, and we had Dick Smith Electronics, but they got bought by JCar when they went out of business. It's all declining, slowly declining. Procrastinate on procrastination. I am the world's best procrastinator. Now I'm the world's second best procrastinator, because I've not met the world's best yet. But I'm sure there's someone better than me, but until I meet them. Okay, no, I'm seriously going. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry that was a bit annoying, frustrating. At least I got some UI stuff happening, and I got the calibration stuff. No, it's terrible, and whatever. Yeah, and I got talking working. Yay. Yeah, I always turn the fan on, and my logo's working. All the other things are working, just not this. Okay, go do the programming, Austin. Have fun. Thanks, everyone. I will catch you all next week. Maybe with some news. We'll see. Okay. Bye.